Tell me how you got started in this.
Yeah, just a little bit about me. Originally from East St. Louis, Illinois. Moved to Atlanta about 15 years ago to change my life to get into entertainment, things of that nature. But my dad always got me into collectibles, sports cards. And like I said, I can never forget my father saying, "Hey, Jordan did it again. Jordan did it again." And at this point, I think Jordan had won his like fifth ring. And no, I believe it was his sixth. And I'm playing the video game, and I could just see my father later that night going through his basketball cards, just looking at his Jordans and things of that nature. So later that night, I went in there and found some Kobe's and fell in love with Kobe Bryant as an NBA player, and just started to really look at his statistics on the back of the cards when they used to have the stats.
Mm-hmm.
See my cereal in the morning, read his stats because I wasn't watching ESPN. And like I say, growing up after that, it was just that's where I kind of fell in love with collectibles. But I always been a video game guy, TCG, but that's where my love for sports kind of came about, and it just kind of changed my life from there.
Daryl, I think I'm a little bit older than you, so I was a box score kid for baseball back in like the late 70s, early 80s. And like you lived, like you said, you lived through the box scores, you lived through the back of the cards when I had baseball stickers or the baseball cards. You know, those box scores, the stats in the back, that told the whole story. Sometimes you never saw the players, right? You'd only see the stats. I know more stats from like the 80s than I do today, which is really kind of funny. So, you're playing video games, you're doing your love of sports. Was the hobby always something on your mind, or as a kid was it more about the games, the players, etc.? And did you grow into the hobby as an adult, or were you a hobby kid?
So for me, I can say I was like I would consider myself a slash kid hoarder.
Okay.
And because like if you go to my room, you're talking about 2003, 2004, middle school. I got video games, I got comic books. My room has not only that TCG, I have sports cards. But for me, I really didn't take, I want to say, the sports card aspect until I had a very big trauma in my life where I literally lost everything and had to regroup myself. The same cards that I collected as a kid resurfaced back in my life where my dad would send them to me for my birthday when I moved to Atlanta. So, 15 years of my dad just sending me cards. Hey, you remember you used to collect this? Oh man, I found this card. You remember you used to have this Kobe Bryant? And one day, my childhood saved my life. Them same cards survived the situation that I was in, and I was able to actually sell part of my childhood to get my life back going. So I owe the hobby just so much, and I think it has blessed me not only as a kid, but looking at myself as a kid into adult and what I went through and how my childhood actually saved me.
That's
Um,
really interesting. That's a really, like, truly an interesting story. And it's funny how as a kid, you value things in a certain way. And like you said, those things stayed with you, and you never viewed them as materials back then, right? Like the price, it was more of a memory or a feeling. And then to have them be able to help you out of a jam when you're an adult is truly amazing. And it must lead you to have like an emotional connection with either certain athletes or certain cards or certain pieces in the hobby that's stronger than even like the casual collector, right?
there are some cards that I don't think I will ever see in my lifetime again. There are just some cards where I had, and I'm like, I have not seen them cards in like 5 years. Not nowhere on eBay. Um, you go to any of these platforms, Fanatics, you name it. I have not found these cards. Even at one of the first cards I was able to buy with my own money, which was I believe it was a Fab Floor Auto Gold Kobe Bryant. It was a
Mm.
Kobe Bryant Auto, and I found it on eBay. Ended up buying it for like 900 because I decided to sell my Xbox and get full time into this space. Um, from there, I ended up sending the card off to Golden. And they was like, "Do you want to get this graded?" Came back a PSA 10, pop one, and that card graded for like 3,700. But I never got a chance to see that card again. Yeah, that card be graded, and even that, haven't seen that card resurface since then. So there are probably certain cards that I look back at and was like, wow, I popped one this, or this was Kobe Bryant auto that he autographed in person, which the base card becomes a pop one in the grading system. It's stuff like that that I know I probably won't be able to come across unless if the owners of the cars just decide to put them up for sale.
Sure. You know what though? I mean, if they were a means to an end for you, if it was something that got you out of a jam and got you to where you are today, I mean, clearly they were in your life for a reason. Tell me how you went from that to now Doctor Collectible.
So my whole aspect was I was flipping cards, and I always knew how it felt to sell my childhood. So I wanted to always put myself in a position how to make revenue in the hobby without having to sell a card. That was my biggest thing. I don't want to flip cards. There's nothing wrong with it, but I'd rather collect. So my aspect was how can I make revenue in the hobby without having to sell a card? So I got into content creating. I got into my what I call my creative bag. Not only that, started opening up a after school program teaching kids about sports cards. I tried to figure out any way of revenue to give back to the hobby, but also take away from me working 3 full-time jobs while trying to actually do this. So when I tell people, like in the past when you used to see me with shades on, it's not because I was trying to look cool, it's because working 3 jobs, I was tired and I didn't want to have bags under my eyes and when people are filming you, yeah, they can probably tell, bro, you okay? Man, you look tired. And I just noticed that, and I'm like, yeah, I'm working 3 jobs. And I want to say before the national, shout out to Ray Schultz, gave me an opportunity, and it just kind of bloomed from there. After that, I was able to quit 3 of my jobs. I was able to go in full time as Doctor Collectible and just started merch, started, traveling, going to shows, coming out my own money to really go to shows and make content. And now I have shows flying me out to do content because of the hard work I put in. So I think it all just came kind of like full circle on my end with what I wanted to do and just sticking with that plan. I don't push the $100,000 card or the $1 million card on my page, but for some kid or some parent out there that's looking for family-oriented content or just to have fun in this hobby, you can find that through me.
I love that. I love that story. I love the fact that you wanted to be a part of the hobby without being a flipper. Like you said, there's nothing wrong with that at all. But if you can make money without having to sell the cards, so you're a true collector, but then you're also able to be in the hobby and make a living doing it. That's a great way to look at it. And obviously you're additive to everybody in the hobby, right? Like if you're a flipper or you're somebody who's selling cards all the time, it's kind of a one-way transaction. Whereas you kind of see it from both sides, right? You're a collector and then you're also a content creator. So why Doctor Collectible? Like, did you choose that name? Was that given to you? Like, where'd that nickname come from?
Yeah, so it's interesting. Only a few people ever asked me this. So remember I told you I'm going through my situation. To be legit, literally I lost everything in a house fire situation and was living in my car during the winter. And I can never forget them days, man. Because it made me exactly who I am. I told myself every day I started looking into sports cars, seeing what can I find, going to eBay. I'm going everywhere online. I'm watching Jeff Wilson. I'm watching YouTube. I'm trying to learn as much as I can about the hobby before I actually jump in this full time. So for a year, I sat back and watched people content. What can I do different? How I'm be able to flip cards if I wanted to get into that. How I'm be able to flip content if I wanted to get into that. And from that aspect, I told myself I wanted a PhD in the hobby. Literally for a year, 2 years, every day I was engraved in my brain in the hobby. Who's a part of it? Who's around? What's this company? What's that company? And figuring out my blueprint. And people ask like, yo, how did you just come in and come out of nowhere? It's like I really sat down for a year. Like I try to tell people I sat down for a year and really tried to map out the hobby. Like I was looking at it like the Matrix,
Mm-hmm.
how it was moving. So that was my whole thing. I never had a PhD. I always wanted one. Went to college, things of that nature. But I'm like, well, if I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it in the hobby.
I
And
love
that's
that.
collectible. So I might as well stamp it on myself.
That's tremendous. That's better than I expected. I enjoy that story. And you know what? I heard something a long time ago where somebody said to me that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And I always that phrase has always stuck with me. And somebody like you who took a year, to understand what you were going to dive into. Most people don't do that, right? Most people want the instant gratification of a big flip or a big score or ripping a pack and then just making the money from there and going viral. But the fact that you were able to do it from the ground up, your enthusiasm absolutely shows, your passion for the hobby shows in your videos. So, you become Dr. Collectible. It had to be a little bit of a tough like break-in period, right? Like maybe somebody, like you said, Ray Schulte gives you a shot, but did you find like a lot of barriers to entry in this space? I mean, you're a young guy, like you're a little bit different than, a lot of the people, in the hobby. It's kind of an old established network. Did you find, some barriers to entry, or were people like real enthusiastic to have you, be kind of a different voice?
Hmm. Interesting. I would say this. It was like half and half. Because the first thing I did, the first show I went to was Coach Collision in Atlanta, and I showed up in a doctor's jacket. I knew that was going to happen. Either people was going to talk about me and be like, "Who the hell is this guy? Who is this guy coming up to my table with a doctor's jacket on?" But I kind of felt where I thought the hobby was going to go eventually. Just like how I look at TCG and cosplay and you see Collecticon. Well, Fanatics Fest is, look up 5 years later, the same mindset that I had. Now you got fans coming out dressed as their favorite athlete. I'm not saying come and dress as Dr. Collectible. That was like creating an alter ego. But I knew if I came to the show, I was going to engrave a memory in most people's heads. So when I first started, oh yeah, I was going to the shows, Dr. Jackets, most people told me they was like, they didn't know who the hell I was or who they thought I was. But then having that conversation, getting to know who I am as Daryl Garner and not just Dr. Collectible, I think it kind of shows throughout the years of where I'm at now and just the relationships I've been able to gain. So yeah, I tried to break through with the doctor's jacket. I still got that doctor's jacket. It's in my storage. It's something that I look at from time to time to make sure to remind myself where I started. I did look at it as a gimmick, but someone told me one day, they was like, "Yo, this is your brand. This is you. Make it believable. This is not a gimmick." So now would I wear the jacket? I don't know. Depends on what I got going on. But it always put me in that realization to know that, hey, this is where you started. Stay humble, stay grounded, and just know yourself.
Absolutely. I've been here, a little over a year now. And to me, the most appealing part of the hobby are the stories. It goes back to me being a kid, being 9 years old, and looking at the back of the like 87 tops or whatever, and seeing the box scores and reading the little blurbs about each player. That's where I connect much more so than the business aspect of cards, which is obviously huge and pays our salaries. But it's the stories. It's the stories of the cards, the stories of the players behind the cards. When we're doing chase segments, I like to find the most obscure things and the most random cards from the 50s and 60s and 70s and dive into, why this player is interesting. Like, how come this guy's only worth $30 when his story is as crazy as it is? So I really appreciate your passion for the storytelling and basically, not the business aspect of it. Everybody else can do that. Everybody else can focus on that. But you definitely have a talent and an eye for the storytelling. Be honest with me though, who would you be standing in front of that would bring you to tears?
I'm gonna try to. Long story short, man, I'm gonna have to stick with Kobe Bryant. Back when Twitter was really booming, it's crazy because I got the footage in my phone. When Twitter was really booming, Kobe Bryant had just got on Twitter, and I really wanted Kobe Bryant to follow me. I was a big so me and my father had Kobe Bryant high school jersey. And from there, I told my dad, "Hey, yo, put on the jersey and make a sign and say, yo, follow my son. Boom, boom, boom. He's your biggest fan." Yo, I shared that for like 2 to 3 days straight, just sharing it. And then all of a sudden, it's like it actually happened. And from there, I visited my first basketball game in Atlanta. St. Louis don't have a basketball team, so moving to Atlanta, I was able to see Kobe once a year because the Lakers only come into Atlanta probably once a year. So them times where I was able to actually see Kobe play, be a fan, see him run out the tunnel, spending my hard-earned money to see a guy that I've been watching for over 10 plus years to finally see him play as a man. Somebody I've been watching as a kid. I finally get a chance to see this guy play and touch and bless the floor. That right there, I didn't realize till after Kobe died, and I was like, wow. I just, you never think like your favorite player. You think about Tom Brady going to 80, 90 years
Sure.
old. Like your favorite athletes, you don't think nothing will ever happen to them the way that you felt like God can bless them with this talent to share it with the world. And to see that happen, man, it was full surface for me for me to be able to see that guy play. Not only that, have him follow me on Twitter years ago, and just be a fan in general, and just to be recognized by greatness, even if it was for a split second to push the follow button.
Hey, yeah, man, I totally get that. Like it's hard to describe to some people who are not a part of it, but that's a status symbol to have somebody of his stature follow you. I get it. I understand it. I've been on that same journey as well. That's a great story. So a couple more questions here for you before we wrap it up. You said that you had went to the new Dave and Adams store in New York City. Give me A, your impression of the store, and then B, give me all of your good interactions with Dave and Adams.
So first of all, Dave and Adams, I had the experience to go to Buffalo. I've also had the experience to go to the office. Top of the line. My experience at Buffalo, top of the line. You're talking about video games. Um, jerseys everywhere. You name it, it is there. It's such a great, I call it a facility. It's a New York next level. I call it like a breakers pavilion, like where you're actually can just watch breakers break live and do their thing. And even like it's different. It's not like joining Fanatics Live and then all of a sudden you're watching on the screen. You can actually watch the show right in front of you and join in. I think that's incredible. Not only that, they have a area where you're able to chill, vibe. It's a sitting area where you're able to trade, have them good conversations. I believe there's two ways in. I think this is the first car shop where you can go in and out in two different areas, from the left side and even on the right hand side. I know that's not much, but that's something different that I haven't seen at most car shops because there's one way in and one way out. So to be able to see the product that they had in there, not only that, bringing it, it's New York. Like you want to be the cream of the crop. You want to run the block. You want to be a part of what they call is the Big Apple. And I think they did that to a whole nother standard. Like for me, I've been to a few shops in New York, and they're definitely top notch when it comes to my first experience. But not only that, man. I look at it, they announced they in the race for being one of the best in New York in my eyes.
There you go. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere, right? Like nothing like plopping right down on Broadway and planting your flag right there. You're right. They hit the vibe. Like it's an amazing atmosphere, an amazing vibe, an amazing company. So Daryl, what are your plans this year? At the National.
Ooh, this year, National, I plan on working with a lot of my partners throughout the years that I've just been working with. Um, I want to do something different where I want to be able to give back to my partners, people that have really invested time and effort and trusted me with their brands. I want to be able to do that and do the same. Usually, when I go to the National, I focus on just the whole aspect, being able to share the National with my father twice, man, just it's breathtaking to me, man, because, my father means so much to me. So being able to experience that for the first time with him, That's just the small things. And for the last 2 years, I've just been like focused on the content. But this year, I want to work with the brands, I want to work with the partners, and I want to be able to push the individuals that invested years in me, or just invested in my talent, whatever it was, or just even trusted my brand. So yeah, the people that I've been involved with throughout the years, I plan on making content for them. Plan on turning up their brand during the national, but also working with the national to create content. So I'm gonna be a content bug. I'm gonna be everywhere. You're gonna see me at Heritage. You're gonna see me at Tops. You're gonna see me everywhere, basically, trying to make content, but also make sure the people that invested in me is also getting that limelight is just as much as they put in me years ago.
I love it. Last one. You can wave a magic wand and you can get one card in your collection. I think I already know who the player is. What is the one card that you would want to grab?
Green PMG. The first card of Kobe Bryant that I ever heard that I think like hit a million, which was like 5, 6 some years ago. I think it's graded by Beckett, if I'm not mistaken, but I think it's the Green PMG, Precious Metal Gems. That card there, when I first heard about it and heard about the sale, it literally made me run to the suitcase that survived the situation that I went through and went to go check on my Kobe Bryant cards and was like, I don't know what I got, but I might have something. When I seen that $1 million set at Green PMG, I was like, what the heck is going on? That's the one card that I would love to have. And if there's a card that maybe Kobe Bryant had like had while being a player or something like that, or if I could find out what's his favorite basketball card that he liked of himself, that'll probably be just another favorite of mine.
That's awesome. That's great. It's sold for
Yeah.
2 million. Josh just told me it's over 2 million.
Oh, it was 2 million.
2 million.
I thought it was like 1 point something. Yeah. That definitely. And what year was that?
2022.
Yep.
2022. Well, man, I appreciate it. Is there anything else that you want to say or plug while we're here? Because we're going to wrap this up. So is there anything else you want to say or plug here? Please do.
Yeah. To anyone that's watching this, from kids to adults, if you want to do something like, do it. Don't think twice. I even have a personal project that I've been working on for the last 2 years that I'm hoping that could possibly change not only my life, but the people around me, my family. So if you have something that you want to do, something that you have in mind, just do it. Don't think twice. If you don't even have a support system, be your best supporter. At the end of the day, you're going to go through people, and I always go through the Mamba mentality, regardless of what I'm going through in the day. I could have, lost my job yesterday. Especially if I was working a 9 to 5, I could have lost my job yesterday, and I still would have been on this interview, head and shoulders, being proud of myself and who I am, and getting back to the day. So don't let nothing discourage you. I've had people tell me to go left when I went right, and it was the right mindset for me. You are your own journey. You are you. You are the one-on-one. Do what you want to do with your life. At the end of the day, you won't do anything but look back at yourself and nobody else. So do you.
There you go. I'm ready to run through a brick wall. Let's go.